Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Hello.
We're back for another retro review. This is one of our favorites, obviously, The Amazing Race, Season 1, Episode 4. Another great episode of The Amazing Race. We got to see kind of a few of the gameplay mechanics occur again and actually be vocalized by the player in complaints. I also want to talk about a few other things that I want to bring up and see maybe if some of our viewers can answer for us in the comments as well. And we'll work our way to that. But like we do in The Amazing Race retro reviews, we do like to run through the episodes chronologically, unless there's something super crazy that happened. I am a little sad. Brian.
Yeah. You texted me before I watched the show and you're like, not happy with the ending. And I was like, yeah, they're probably going this episode. Or like something like this was a non-elimination, something like along those lines. And unfortunately, it's the beginning.
We all in our lives lose those kind of family matriarchs and patriarchs. And I feel like I lost like a reality TV grandparent and grandparents. Dave and Margarita were eliminated. They were finally taken down, just like Maximus on the Coliseum floor. So
I'm worried about the where are they now?
God damn it, Brian. I was going to say the same thing. People are going to be in the comments. I was holding
about it.
Stop it, Brian.
Yeah, but see, I'm willing for that to be spoiled. If somebody in the comments knows, like, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Because it's the same thing when I was watching Survivor with Rudy. Like,
yeah,
it's so old. This was
2001
years ago, man. That's a long time ago.
So we think they did a great job. It for everyone else now, the other teams, they were probably always like the people thought it was like the insurance team for them to, especially since they had used their fast forward. That okay, now they're gone. Everyone's up for grabs now. Everyone can be eliminated. I'm curious to see the teams that haven't used the fast forward yet, and some of the teams that use them early on, if they're going to regret that crap because it made no sense to use it so early.
Yeah, because I still think some of the worst teams are like still. I don't think any like of the bad teams are like gotten eliminated yet.
Not really, no.
Yeah, which is I guess
the older teams
on the first team, but like. The one team got screwed on the cat. It's all come back to Cavs. Because the girl team, they got lost as a cat. The guy was like, I'm going to go find the police. And it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
Cab drivers are wild cards in The Amazing Race. And it's something where we start to work on our cardinal rules. Like it may be like, take the train if you can. Like, and we're not there yet. But we're going to, if you don't know what we're talking about, watch our other coverage. We do cover the Bachelor franchise, was the first franchise we covered for our channel. And we have cardinal rules that we think that the show should cover. And they break all the time on things such as dates and things to say and not do, etc. And so we'll get those with The Amazing Race as well. So the date, talking about Bachelor. The leg 4, it started the Port of Marseille where the last leg started. There was some battling in the beginning of this episode. The lawyers tried to tell the taxi drivers not to pick up Margarita and Frank, like to not call another cab for them. I don't care. I think that's fair game. And then everyone kind of getting mad, like people like Nancy and Emily taking Joe and Amy's cab and a lot of yelling and stuff between Joe and Amie, and Nancy doesn't like it. They get a classic line of Nancy being, I just don't like all the yelling and the cursing with everyone. I just don't really like it. And I'm like, oh boy.
And like Paul and Amie are the ones that like swear the most, and they almost feel like they look like they're going to fist fight at any moment. But these teams that didn't call a cab in advance, like that's dumb. You
have 12 hours that you're there.
Yeah, like when somebody like, when I think it was even Paul and Amie there, or they're like, yeah, we called a cab in advance. I was like, that's actually like pretty smart.
Also, like, tell them that you're a guy and a girl. Like, tell them what you look like. Like, I have a goatee. I'm going to be wearing a green coat. Like, you know what your color coat you're wearing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the lawyers did that.
2 people.
The lawyers called a cab and they're like, yeah, check the passport. Because remember, Frank and Marguerite was trying to take it. And that guy was like, no,
pick them up.
Show me your passport or die.
Or die. Show me your papers.
Yeah.
So the thing I was kind of alluding to as far as a gameplay mechanic gets voiced, I think it was voicing, I think it was the Guidos, where they all end up at the boat port because they have to take a boat to Tunisia. That's where the flag that they found, that was a Tunisian flag. And they're like, what's the point of being in first place if we just have to get stuck with everyone waiting for the same boat? And now everyone who is an Amazing Race fan knows that is going to be part of the game going forward, that not every leg is going to let you get a 12-hour head start on someone if you were 12 hours ahead. Sometimes there's one ferry boat or like we saw in France, the cathedrals and the rides are only open till 9:00 at night, and you're going to have to kind of deal with that. So I just like that these things are talked about in their voice. It's like camp life.
Yeah. And didn't he say like you can get a private boat? Like there were other ways. They just all happen to choose the same one.
You could have, if you asked locals, you could have gotten on a commercial. You could have chartered like a commercial boat, basically.
It was far.
Yeah.
And they showed the map. That was not close.
No, that was like a couple day journey.
Yeah. And I think that's going to happen when they make these huge changes in locations. Like
crazy jumps.
Yeah. Like it's tough. Like I guess like in a train, there's multiple trains and like multiple cabs and planes, but like a boat, like there's really you can only go one way on a boat. Or I mean, he didn't say you can take a sub.
Yeah, I mean, they don't care. I really don't think they care how you get there. That should really be it. They shouldn't even care how you get there. You should be able to buy a car if you want to and start driving the Amazing Race.
Right. Something like that.
I did like it wouldn't be an episode of The Amazing Race season 1 if there wasn't Guido hate. The original Guido hate on reality television was against Team Guido, and Team Guido gets yelled at because, like Brian, you had kind of alluded to, they pull that kind of thing where they're helping, but then they hold it over everyone's head that they're helping. And this is what I'm alluding to, was with the train tickets, right? Or the boat tickets.
Right, like people that do like stuff for you, but they expect something in return, even if they're trying to be a nice gesture, but they still expect something in return. There's a movie or a character that does it all the time. I just can't, it's off the top of my head, I can't remember, but very classic trope of people.
The detour was full body brew or full body massage. Full body brew was only to get there. You had to go get a thing of coffee, which was easy, but there wasn't an expressway. There was just a picture on a map. Mm-hmm. The massage was further away, but it showed you how to get there. We had to be there for 20 minutes. I love
ass kicking.
So stupid. Well, we'll get to that, but I just like that. Something that I complained about on our first season that we watched, which was the most recent season of Amazing Race, that people don't ask for directions. Man, they ask for directions right away. Every single team. And some teams had better luck than others too with the direction asking.
Because they have assets.
We're talking about the women here, folks. The women were in this leg of the race were getting gawked over. They had a much easier way, and they were taken care of.
Nancy and Emily had like an entourage.
They literally had a squad. They could have just they could have ended the Amazing Race right there. Just had them all jumped right there by their squad.
They're like, hey, we got to take a boat. Like they would have, if they had to still take a boat, those guys would have built a boat for them and like rowed it out. Like
they would have paddled the boat for them. 100%. That's 100%. Asking for directions helps unless you're Paul and Amie. You can't take 2 seconds away from fighting each other. The Paul and Amie, this is the gif you need to find, is like, I don't even know what cartoon it's from, but it's like when like the cat and the dog end up fighting each other and they're like at a whirlwind at all times. And all you see is like the legs and arms kicking out. Like that's them. That's like all they do. They just fight, but they're still in.
I thought you were talking about when like they're fighting and then they break apart, but they're just fighting themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's close to the same thing. That any gift, any kind of classic cartoon gift, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. They need to stop fighting.
Stop. At any point, like they just also look like people that would be in like Celebrity Deathmatch, like generic characters, like Claymation, where they just
Claymation fans. Kill him!
Yeah, right.
The other part about the directions, asking for directions went wrong for, like we said, Dave and Margarita. Dave and Margarita were in like a kidnapping situation. The first cab driver dropped them off with another cab driver who didn't want to take them, but then didn't want their American money, but then made them go to a bank, and the bank was closed and they were getting angry at them. And why would you even get back in the cab with those people, man? Get the F out of here.
Yeah, that's always like my fear in another country. Like you got all these people like just chirping in another language, like how they're going to handle you. And it's just like, I was surprised how well they handled it.
Bro, on my honeymoon, I had a local guy taking us places, and they all compete to take you places.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And my cab driver got in a big argument with another guy, like when we were loading up, and I literally got out of the car and was just like, yo, if this is going to be a thing, I'm not dealing with it. Like, if this is going to be a thing, I'm not dealing with this all day. And then boom, boom. And they like stopped. Like, I was like, I'm just not dead. Like, they're like, oh,
right. Oh,
I was like, yeah, no, I'm not here to like
friends.
watch like you fight all day. So like, I totally actually related to that situation. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Like,
it always happens. It's just like it's just awkward because you don't even know what they're saying to each other.
No, it's rude. It's very rude.
Yeah.
The last thing really there, the taxi or train to El Gem. Some people told them to take the train who worked for the train station. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't think they were scheming. It's just like, oh, I work for the train station. So like, let's go take the train. This is the thing. They talk about the cab ride being shorter, but more expensive. This is something I really want help for in the comments, whether Facebook, in the video, whatever. Does the money shit ever come into account? Because I was really psyched on that in the beginning of the season, but so far I haven't seen anybody have hit money troubles yet. And I'm really hoping that they just haven't given them so much money that it's never going to be a problem.
They said Phil says it resets every leg.
How much money are they getting?
The
first leg they told us, and since then we haven't known.
Yeah, so but remember, this is the first season, so they might correct it.
Yeah, well,
next season could be like they get like just like worst rations of all time. You're like, here's $5, do with what you can.
It's so funny. I hope it's like gets like that. They give them like no money. They have to go actually work jobs to make money and then leave. They're there for weeks at a time. They have to apply for jobs, interview, make enough money to get a train ticket.
They gotta they give them like a random item and like you get to barter and just start from there. Like it just starts with a random object. Get like $5 for it, but
they wake up in a city with nothing, no backpack, no money, no anything. No one tells them where they are, and they just have to find a flag and start wandering. Have you seen a yellow flag?
Right.
So going into the end here, like I said, we kind of covered the fact that Dave and Margarita were eliminated. The final part of the thing in El Gem was a Roman Coliseum in Tunisia, which is pretty crazy, a full-blown Roman Coliseum. It was a kind of an interesting challenge because it was a roadblock elimination. That's different. I didn't see that last season where like the last person to finish the roadblock was eliminated. I haven't seen that yet. Yeah,
like you would think that they would have to drive somewhere else, but
no. They just kind of mixed it up, which is cool. Again, it's cool variety. I like the idea that it makes it feel like a challenge show.
Yeah, right.
You come in last in a challenge, you lost. It's not like you got there because it's like it makes sense because if it is so bad on the roadblock and then you should have to drive somewhere else, but it was inevitable. Why make these old people drive 200 miles to the next stop?
Fly to another 3 continents in one leg would be nuts.
You have to fly to another country to find out you're eliminated.
Right.
That would be savage. The last part of the leg is a flight.
Yeah. And if you lose, they just kick you out of the side of the plane.
And they rip up your passport.
Right. Do you have the order?
No, I figured you probably did that.
All right. So first place, the hated Team Guido. Second place, Frat Bros, Kevin and Drew.
Okay.
Third place, Nancy and Emily and her entourage. 4, Frank and Margarita. 5, Paul and Amie, who I hate. 6, Rob and Brennan, lawyers. 7th, Lenny and Karen, and eliminated is Bill favorite, David Margarita.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of teams left that are definitely getting eliminated soon. There are definitely some tier differences in my opinion. Though.
Yeah, and it looks like on the intro to next week that it could be somebody like something happens where like heavyweight teams like Rob and Brennan are pretty low.
Yeah.
Normally, like right now. So
I didn't see the preview, but that's
they look like they're struggling in the next one.
Well, I like to see that.
Yeah.
So another week. We love the season. If this is your first time watching, we appreciate it. We'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do with the video. We cover, besides our retro reviews, we're kind of in a downtime with new stuff, but we are covering the current seasons of Survivor and Temptation Island. In the next few weeks, we will have a new season of The Circle on Netflix. We'll have a new season of The Challenge All-Stars on Paramount Plus. So we're excited about those two. But check out, we have plenty of stuff that came out recently. Love is Blind. We did another season of The Circle. We've actually done 2 seasons of Love is Blind. We did our most recent season of The Bachelor, Bachelorette. any challenge season. Like I said, it's been on a little bit of a hiatus as well, but that'll be coming back. And then when we have our 2 Bachelorette airing in July, which still seems crazy to me that that's that long till Bachelorette comes back. We will cover all of that. Look out for some preview episodes. And then, like we said, when we get to the end of these retro reviews as well, we're going to do a where are they now? So we're hoping everyone's still alive. Probably not the case.
I'm worried about this season. This is an old season. Like these early ones are going to be tough when we like.
It's good. We're going to have some surprise deaths.
Yeah.
It's 21 years ago, dude.
Yeah. It's just, well, you never know. You never know who's still there. But I don't like the odds right now.
I really want Team Guido to be alive so we can interview them.
Did you remember how we weren't sure like if they were like just like an old couple? Like,
oh no, they're life partners.
Yeah, somebody finally.
So 2001, you can't say husbands. I guess they're even allowed to be married.
Like snuck in like gay, and it's like,
wasn't that like 2004 even? Like you couldn't even actually legally be married.
Yeah,
how crazy is that? When this show came out, I don't think you could be legally married if you're gay. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Did you finally notice their shirts?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I did. Okay, well, for myself and Brian, thank you. Peace.